Hey, what's up guys? Sean here. So today we're going to talk about my favorite emergency fire. What is that? Let's get it. So I hear what you're saying. What's the idea of an emergency fire? Well, we're not talking about a campfire. We're not talking about something that you plan to build and you put a lot of time into and gathering up your firewood and keeping everything nice and neat. We're talking about a fire for like an unplanned overnighter when something goes wrong. So an emergency fire is a simple little fire that you can keep going relatively easily without a ton of effort, and you can just sit down and chill and wait till morning. So let's go find somewhere to sit down and we can talk about it. Now an area like this is just what I'm talking about. So you got a little clump of trees here. There's a slight rise in the ground right there. It's going to help you out. So let's sit down here and discuss it, and I'll tell you the method for the madness. So this is really going to pertain more to fall and winter, but spring and summertime, if you get displaced or injured or something on the trail, this little fire could also help you just from a morale standpoint. A lot of times the dark brings out the boogeyman and the fire keeps the boogeyman away. So in this situation in spring and summer, it could just kind of help you feel more comfortable to make it through the night. So I told you I was going to tell you my favorite emergency fire. And so my favorite emergency fire is going to be a modified star fire. The reason being is because the star fire allows you to more easily control the temperature and the fuel consumption. So a star fire is not going to consume as much fuel, and the way we're going to do it is going to allow you to maintain the fire with minimal effort, so you can get comfortable and more or less stay put. Now the nice thing about this little star fire is it doesn't require a lot of fuel. So we'll get it started with little sticks like this, and then with just a couple of decent sized logs, we can kind of keep it burning slowly at whatever speed and heat we want throughout the night, and it won't take a lot of work. So let's say you're just out on a hike for the day and something happens. You twist the ankle, you twist your knee, you kind of get displaced for a little while, you're turned around, or the hike is a little further than you thought it was and you're not going to make it back to the vehicle. So you've got to spend the night. This is an unplanned overnighter. Well, in my opinion, in a situation like that, I know I'm not camping. I'm not going to set up this elaborate camp. I'm not going to get everything out and build this structure or anything. I've got my Arcturix survival blanket in here. If it gets cold enough for me to need it, I can take that survival blanket out, wrap it around me, sit right here with my back to this tree. This is going to help me block some of the wind off of my back, which is going to help me stay warmer. And that survival blanket will hold my body heat in. This little fire, being right where I'm going to put it, and I'll show you in just a second, is going to be enough to keep you warm throughout the night. You may not be, you know, in luxury, but it's going to keep you warm throughout the night with minimal effort. And anybody who has ever camped in the cold at night, when your body starts to get cold, you don't want to lay out. You don't want to stretch out. You will end up in a fetal position when you get cold. So what we're going to do right here is going to keep your body more condensed, which is going to hold more of your body heat in. And you may not get a ton of sleep this way, but believe me, if you are having an unplanned overnighter in a situation like this, don't plan on getting much sleep anyway. You're not going to get much sleep. So let's get this fire started, and I'll show you how this star fire actually works. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start out by clearing out everything in this area here, just to try to make sure that you can control your fire. You don't have to have a huge area here because we're not going to have a huge fire, but we're going to open this thing up enough. Let's get right down to the sand. All right, so we've pretty much got this thing the way we want it. I'm going to go ahead and put a base down of some bigger sticks. These are a little bigger than we really need. Just something like this, and I always like to put a base down for my fires just to kind of insulate from the soil. Any moisture in the soil will make your fire harder to take off, so this is going to make it a little easier for you. Okay, so we got that going. We've already got some broke up over here, smaller pieces, bigger pieces, and let's go ahead and get us a little fire going. So in my day pack here, I have, this pocket is for my first aid kit, my compass is in here, and then I have some of those little emergency fire starters in this kit. So we're gonna use one of these, and in my first aid kit there should be a lighter. Yes. All right. Let's set this off to the side right now. All right. So these are those DIY mini infernos I made. I'm going to take one of these out. We'll go ahead and try it with half of one. I don't think I'll need a whole one. All right. I'll cut this into 2 little pieces. Got some of these. We're going to put that down there. Like that. I want to make sure I got everything I need prepared before I get started. Doesn't take much with those. Get that going. That'll burn for a little while. So we're going to go ahead, throw some pieces on here. I'll actually put a little stack at this end, and then I'll put my stuff across the top of it there. Now, I know you're thinking, how is a little fire like this going to keep you warm? Well, this fire is designed for you to set with your legs spread around the fire. That's why we're going to keep it small. What's going to happen is that's going to heat up your core area right here by heating up the femoral arteries in your groin area. And if you can keep that area warm, it's going to pump warm blood around your body, and it's going to help you stay warmer. Now, no, we're not going to sit here and feed these little sticks to the fire all night long. The goal is to keep this fire going with minimal effort. So as I was gathering up all the materials to start with, I went ahead and gathered up a couple of these bigger, thicker logs. Now what we're going to do with those is I'm going to feed these under my knees, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. But by doing that, I can keep them within arm's reach. I'll keep the tips of those sticks in the fire, and as they burn down, I'll grab them and push them back forward into the fire like that. And we can kind of easily feed that fire all night long, sitting in one spot right up under this tree. Now, as this fire burns and your body starts getting regulated with that temperature, you can adjust how much or how little you put into the fire. And by doing that, you can adjust the heat of your fire to what you want, and you can manage the burn time on these logs too. So it wouldn't hurt to have a couple of other logs set aside just to make sure you can make it through the night. But this is a very simple way to have a tiny fire keep you warm throughout the night, and that's why this little star fire is my favorite emergency fire. Now, I understand this is going to be burning back up that log, but chances are, in a situation like this, you're not going to be in such a deep sleep that you won't realize that. You're going to be dozing off, and you can kind of adjust that log as you need it. But that is something to think about. So if you don't want to run these under your knees, you can always put them out in front of you and feed them into the fire that way. The only thing that does is that will make you have to reposition yourself to move those logs. Not a huge deal, but like I said, in this situation I set it up for minimal effort. So having these under my legs here gives my legs something to prop on to keep my knees from being too flat, and it also allows me to just easily feed that fire from where I'm sitting. If you have a fire that you prefer, put it in the comments below. Let me know. We can all kind of learn together. I'm not saying that this is the right way to do it. I'm just saying that this is my favorite emergency fire. The goal of this channel is to entertain, inspire, and instruct. If I can entertain you, maybe I can inspire you to go outside and do something. And if I can inspire you to go outside and do something, maybe I can teach you a little something that will help you along the way. I know this video was short and sweet, but if you enjoyed it, give it that big thumbs up for me. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next week.